Welcome to today's podcast on SASE architecture. The whole purpose of today's session is to run through SASE architecture and what it is. My name is Jamie Pender. I'm the Content Marketing Manager for Axians UK, and I'm accompanied with by my colleague Chris, which I'll let you introduce yourself.
Yes, sure. Thank you very much. My name's Chris Gilmore. I'm the CTO for Axians in the UK, and I'm hopefully here helping Jamie to explain this in a bit more detail to everyone at home.
Great. Thank you very much for your time, Chris. Much appreciated. So I think as a starting point, there's a lot of noise around SASE. So I think before we go too far, can you actually explain what is SASE and what the components are of SASE?
Sure. Unfortunately, we're afflicted in this industry with a lot of acronyms and buzzwords, so it's very easy to get lost. Fundamentally, SASE is a phrase Gartner came out with. It refers to Secure Access Services Edge, and it's actually an architecture. It's not actually a product in its own right. It's an architectural model. And the main components of that architectural model are SD-WAN, one more buzzword, and SSE. So SD-WAN is software-defined wide area networking. And fundamentally what that is it's abstracting the service away from the underlying line. So if you think about years ago, you would watch Sky TV on a Sky box with a satellite physically attached to it. You couldn't watch it on any other TV channel, any other TVs in your house. And now it's just an app on your iPad, and you can wander around and it just works over the internet. That, in effect, is the same thing they've done to a network. They've abstracted the network fundamentals so that it's no longer actually physically pegged to the bit of wire that delivers it. That gives you a lot more control, gives you the ability to kind of manage it from a central point and apply policy on it. So it's call it next generation networking. SSE is Secure Services Edge, and what that fundamentally is it's moving a lot of the security functions that you have in various different appliances and sometimes combined in larger next generation firewalls into the cloud. So the whole point of it being is that your applications are moving to the cloud. So the idea is to move your security as close to those as possible. So in effect, what you have is a smart, intelligent edge network, and you have cloud security components. So together, the SASE architecture gives you, in effect, an intelligent, secured network from your users to the cloud.
So what are the market drivers then for the new SASE architecture?
The biggest one is cloud. So more and more people are adopting cloud. Even when you look at the current trend of pulling back from the public clouds to more private clouds, it's still not on your own infrastructure. It's still not on your own data center. It tends to be either a third-party hosted environment, or you are using the multi-hyperscalers. What that, in effect, drove with SD-WAN as a starting point was historical networking models were focused around site-to-site and not site-to-cloud. So they weren't efficient in terms of that connectivity. So SD-WAN allows each site to break out locally to the internet so that you are getting the optimized path to the cloud apps. What that does, however, is it breaks every security model that you've got. So if you typically had one major place in your network that you connect to the internet, you could put loads of firewalls and other security appliances in there, and you can in fact create a kind of a gatehouse over the moat of your castle. With every site now going direct to internet, you basically have potentially thousands of points of access to your network rather than one. And you have to evolve your security model to allow for that. So moving your security close to the cloud, to your cloud apps, meant that you are able to scale. You're able to address increasing security challenges, but without having to work off of whether you are behind a physical appliance in a certain location.
So the post-pandemic work from anywhere users, how has that impacted? Has that brought about SASE?
Yeah. SSE, which is the Secure Services Edge, or the cloud security component of SASE, has a number of features, and one of those key features is ZTNA, which is Zero Trust Network Access. So what that is like a next-generation VPN. So whereas of days of old, you would have VPN'd into a device on your network to access the applications, servers, content, whatever that's on your own infrastructure. Because most of that's going to the cloud, maybe a lot of people are using Office 365, for example, or Google Docs or whatever. The data you're trying to access is up there, not down there. So to scale, ZTNA allows you to connect securely from wherever you are to your applications, wherever they are. So ultimately it means that you're as secure from Costa as you are from an airport, from a hotel, from a customer site, as you are from your own office. And one of the things it addresses is the kind of holy grail from a CISO perspective, which is consistency. Most CISOs, what you protect and how you protect it are bone of contention, and arguments will reign forever as to where the next security kind of posture updates are and where those tools are going to provide additional capabilities. Fundamentally, what you want as a CISO is consistency. You want people having the same security posture applied to them wherever they're based, whether that's at home, whether that's in the hotel, whether that's in the Costa or in the office. And ZTNA allows you to have that. So that's one of the key features that have come out of the Secure Services Edge cloud security platforms. And it's one of the very, very popular features that we're seeing amongst the customers we're talking to as the kind of key driver for why they're moving to this sort of adoption point. Because they're trying to work out how to not have the problems they had when COVID hit the last time, and make sure that the continuity of business can still, it's there and workable.
So, talking of customers, could you describe what a typical customer would look like, or who would get the most benefit from a SASE architecture? And is SASE architecture, is it for a particular industry?
No, I'd suggest that everything is use case. It doesn't matter what the industry is. You can have different use cases within the same industry. Cloud security will help when you have a workforce who are distributed. Right? If you have 100 users and they all work in one location and only ever work in one location, then a local firewall will probably be sufficient. That sort of model has gone now, and 99% of businesses are working in some sort of hybrid model of working. Whether that's just a relaxation of, I'll have the occasional day from home, to the ones where it's a formalised 2-3 days from home, 2 from the office. So any environment that works to that sort of model has to have a number of things. So one, you need to have the ability to secure your users. So your users from inside the network and your users from outside the network. You also, if you look at the fact that you're then having, for example, Zoom or Teams or Blue Jeans or whatever your video conferencing platform of service of choices, it changes your traffic profile quite significantly. So when everyone worked in the office and was accessing the odd bit of SaaS application, the traffic profiles were a certain way. When half of the people who are in the office are now working from outside the office, I can't remember the last time I was on a Teams call where everyone was in the office, right? And that's in the last 18 months. Probably a common thing amongst most of our people here. And what happens then is you've got 5 people in an office having a call with a customer, and then 3 people from their own team are calling in, and then the customer's team could be in one site or multiple sites. So the number of data streams you've got across your network has actually increased significantly. So the traffic profiles have madly changed. And that's where SD-WAN comes in, is a really, really helpful tool for managing that, because it's about application management and routing the traffic effectively for the application to work properly. So what it means is that it can handle the changes in traffic profile, and it's a more optimized way of managing that traffic. So realistically, hybrid workers have a number of effects that have driven the SASE architecture as one of the kind of key drivers.
Thanks, Chris. So can you describe, what does a typical organization look like who would get the most benefit from SASE architecture?
We tend to see 3 types of customer. We've got customers who have done a network transformation. So they've taken the jump and they've done SD-WAN. And as I said earlier, once you move to a model where you're looking at local internet breakout in all locations, your security model is broken. So that drives a security transformation. So we see some customers who've had that first step into the next generation network and have now got the follow through, almost tail transformational challenges that they then have to kind of take. We have the flip. We have people who have gone, right, our applications are all in the cloud, let's go for a security transformation. They've gone to a cloud-based security platform. And then they've realised that a cloud-based security platform that's accessible from anywhere doesn't really work that well with a legacy network infrastructure. It can work, but it's not optimized. And then to drive the real value out of this, you want to drive it forces a network transformation. So we tend to find you either kind of network completed, now the security's been pulled through, or your security's been done, you pull the network through, and increasingly people going in and going, I know that if I do that, that's going to break that, or I do that, that's going to break that. So I'm looking for both. So it tends to be one of the three. I would have said, going back 4 or 5 years ago, it was a network-led. The last 2-3 years, it's been sort of a security-led. And in the last 12 to 18 months, it's been a combined, I'm looking for SASE, because that marketing and the messaging has been a lot louder in the market.
Chris, thank you very much for your time spent on the SASE podcast. Much appreciated, and I'm certainly found it very informative. I hope everybody else has found it as informative. If you have any other questions, please do get in contact with Axians. You've got all the details available.
Thank you for joining us. If anyone's got any questions regarding SASE or would like clarification around SASE, what the component parts are, why you should care, please reach out to me. I'm available on LinkedIn as Chris Gilmore. And also we've done additional blogs around this subject that are available from the Axians website. Thank you.